Well, hello, Take Two family, and welcome to your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher, and hopefully you, because you will call in and you'll add to this topic that we're about to introduce. Here is the number. Matt Gabinski is so ready to answer your call very quickly if you want to be first up here on Take Two. That's always a prime position to be in. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. You'll speak to Matt Gabinski. He'll chat with you for a few minutes. He'll put you on hold. You get to listen live and come right in. You slip right into the discussion, just like we're in a virtual living room. It's so exciting. Well, here is the topic today. We want you to finish this sentence. Ready? What the world needs now is... ... And don't finish it with the song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Well, you know how that goes. That always gets stuck in your head, right? But no, we're talking about what the world needs now is, and if you could invent anything, what would it be for the world to make it a better place, to benefit the world today, right now, with all the problems that we have? Okay, if you could invent something that would just really help all of us in this world, what would it be? What the world needs now is... Think about it for just a minute and call in. Okay, everybody race to the phones. Let's go. 833-288-3986. And that is the number to call to get in on Take Two. We have Jeff Burson on social media. If you'd like to add your great invention to that, you can just go on YouTube or Facebook. Jerry and I are waving to you. And that is a wonderful thing. So you could go on social media and post your invention there. Or you can call us by using that number. That's just the number I gave you. I'll give it to you again slowly. 1-833-288-3986. What the world needs now is... Give us your greatest invention that you would think of if you could really help the world right now in the current state of affairs that we're in. Or you can email us. You email us at take2@EWTN.com. Then let me tell you something about our email. We read everything. Jerry and I read everything, okay? And Ace McKay, our producer, he is phenomenal. He reads everything as well, and he responds for us at times when we get an abundance of emails, and we love that, so keep them coming. And we get pictures. We get all sorts of fun events that are happening with the Take Two family. So we're super excited when you email us, take2@EWTN.com. Don't forget to find us on Facebook as well. Jerry and Debbie, like us on Facebook. You can also visit us at our ministry, standtalltoday.com. Standtalltoday.com. That's where we have our life coaching ministry and all sorts of things and products. So please visit us there. It's a super active ministry, and a lot of people are benefiting from that. So that's kind of like our little invention that we added to the world to make it a better place. Okay, so we got a couple phone lines lighting up. That's good. And we're ready to go. And are we good? Do we have Jerry?
We have Jerry.
We have Jerry. I'm so glad. See, Jerry, I like just, doing the introduction and setting the table. And then here comes Jerry Usher, just right in, a perfect timing to share with us, Jerry, your invention that would make the world a better place.
Well, first, I just want to say I chuckle with the short delay in getting me on with my audio, because you're right. People are probably thinking, Debbie, give Jerry a chance to talk at least, will you?
I was doing it on purpose. I was stalling so Jerry could get on. But Jerry, tell us your invention.
This is something that's not earth-shattering or anything, but I think a lot of people could relate to it. I wish if I could invent something that the world would really benefit from, it would be the ability to charge and use any gadget you want without plugs and wires and, cords. We still live in, a spaghetti type cord world, with all of the advances we've had in technology, with wireless this and wireless that and wireless charging and all of that. We still have to haul around all of these cords wherever we go. So I think if I could invent something, it would be just the ability to charge up and then use our gadgets and appliances and whatever we use, without having to have cords.
Kind of like the Jetsons, huh? Remember the Jetsons?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So that spaghetti reference, was that because your co-host is Italian? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Okay, so that's actually really cool. You're right. Because we do carry around a ton of cords everywhere we go, and we're always looking for those plug-ins to make sure we have things charged up. That would make the world a better place. So that's Jerry's contribution. Okay, so I know I kind of teased yesterday that I had something in mind. Okay, this is my invention that I would love to see. I would like, how they're always talking about implanting things in our wrist or something that you could, go past, go through the terminal at a airport, and they'll know everything about you, and everything's, right there implanted. I think we should have something implanted that is an immediate fact checker. Okay. Oh. An immediate fact checker. And primarily this has to be implanted on those leaders of the world. Because I find that when I'm watching TV and they're saying something that is clearly untrue, nobody is holding them accountable. No one. They just get to say things anytime, and they have the platform, they have the microphone. Wouldn't it be great if this little buzzer went off and it said, that's a lie, retract, rewind,
You know what? That is a great idea. And what might be even similar to that is, remember there was a commercial recently I think it was for an auto insurance company, homeowners insurance, and they had the Pinocchio guy, Yeah. And he said something and his nose went out about 6 inches, said something else, went out about 12 inches, said something else. Mm-hmm. So, just the old Pinocchio thing, if people's nose just got really long when they were lying, that would be
Wouldn't
another
that
way.
I think that would be great. I think that should be mandatory for everybody in leadership around the world. That's what I would say. That would be my contribution. How about yours, our Take Two family? What would you want to invent to make this world a better place? 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. We really want to hear from you. This is your show. We learn and grow together and hopefully get a little closer to God. We always weave it into our spirituality. See, I just did because I want the truth. I want the real raw truth. I'm tired of all the fibbing and the lies coming out of those who are leading us. It's just not right, and it's very confusing and very chaotic.
Well, you are on the same wavelength or idea as Tammy, who just emailed us 3 minutes ago, Debbie, and she says truth. What the world needs now is truth. Thanks for weighing in, Tammy. What about you, Take Two family? If you could invent something that the world needs or would benefit from in some way, what would it be? 833-288-3986.
The Miracle Hunter, Michael O'Neill, Lisa Popchak, Father Thomas Loya.
The leading Catholic voices are on the largest Catholic media network in the world. You're listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Archbishop Cordileone talks about the National Catholic Register.
The register's content is so critically important in the society we're living in now. There's an absence of the practice of religion in public life. So all the more important is it for people to be reading the register so that they can acquire more understanding of our Catholic faith. I've appreciated the catechetical benefits of the content of the register. It presents very clear Catholic teaching in a way that is easily digestible.
To get 6 free issues, order online at ncregister.com/radio or call 800-421-3230 and mention code radio. That's ncregister.com/radio or 800-421-3230 and mention code radio. Call or click today. The National Catholic Register. Read faithfully.
The Holy Father's prayer intention for the month of July is the elderly, who represent the roots and memory of a people. May their experience and wisdom help young people to look towards the future with hope and responsibility.
Well, we're all wannabe inventors today. What would you invent or create or produce to make the world a better place? If you could do so, maybe you actually have done something like that. We'd love to hear about it. 833-288-3986. 3986. We're going to your calls in about 36 seconds after I tell you about a new book from EWTN Publishing called St. Thomas Aquinas Rescues Modern Psychology. It's by EWTN host Father Brian Mullady. It's subtitled The Catholic Answer to the Theories of Sigmund Freud. Father Brian Mullady examines the nature of a healthy Christian emotional life and ultimately provides the Catholic answer to the problematic theories of Sigmund Freud. He will talk about why fidelity to our state in life is important to sanctity, how to overcome emotions of fear or unrestrained energy, the power of hidden acts of patience and virtue, and more. Available now at EWTNRC.com. Please, buy Catholic, shop EWTNRC.com. And I guarantee that was more than 36 seconds. My apologies.
I was just going to say, how did you determine it was going to be 36 seconds? Like, not 37.
I thought I could
38.
do it in 36. Yeah.
Oh,
Losing
you're
my touch.
hilarious. You're losing your touch, right? Okay, let's hear what Chris has to say. And by the way, folks, we do have a couple open phone lines. If you have something in your mind, your imagination that you think could make the world a better place to live right now, share with us. We want to know. Maybe there's somebody out there that has the means to do it and they're going to make it happen and we could all live a much better existence. 833-288-3986. Let's hear what Chris has to say in Colorado, listening on Catholic Radio Network. Hi, Chris. Welcome.
How you guys doing today?
Doing well, Chris. How about you? Yeah, how about you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you.
Good.
Listen, I just thought one of the things the world could really use is if everybody had a pair of awareness glasses to see what their thoughts and deeds, the impact of them. You know, the veil that it says covers all of the world that causes us to do all this wacky horse manure. What would be cool is if people could just put these glasses on and they would really see through the eyes of truth. And I think you said that already, but it hit me. It's like what we really need is truth and repentance. So truth and repentance goggles would be awesome. That's my input.
Actually, I like that better than, I was thinking of the little like microchip or something underneath the skin that everybody's talking about. Like, you can get implanted and it's on the body. But, I like the glasses thing, or like what Jerry was saying about the Pinocchio nose or whatever. I like that because it's a visual, everybody's got it. And when you have these glasses on, you are going to have that the understanding of what you're about to enter into, what you're about to say, the truth of it, the understanding of it, the awareness, the enlightenment. I agree with you, Chris. I think I've said this many times. Jerry's heard me say it. I feel like there's a blanket over everybody's eyes. I really do in some degree. And I don't know if it's because of what we've been through with the pandemic or with the world changing so rapidly or technology or what, or maybe it's all of the above. But I find it to be very chaotic. And when you have chaos, you have a lot of sin. It just seems to work out that way. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, and vice versa. I see. Well, I've really become aware of it is inside my own mind. I can be engaging certain political figures who shall remain nameless, but I've got them in chokeholds and I'm punching them and beating them up, and I'm like, Chris, come on, pal, come on. Jeez. So it's like, okay, what we have to do is be strong and robust and not cower, but at the same time, not be afraid. Anyway, I'm rambling on. That's all I got.
No, I think it's excellent. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, I was just trying to look up some passages because, Chris, the Bible talks a lot about this, about, the Lord opening the eyes of those who cannot see. He says very explicitly in Matthew 13, let him who has ears hear. And there are other passages, I think there's one in Isaiah that says, the Lord will, open the eyes of the blind so they can see, kind of like, prophetically see what he is doing, who he is and what he's doing. So I would say you're absolutely right. That would be an amazing invention. And I think maybe it already has been invented because, God gives us a conscience and we can look around at our actions and see the consequences of them and the consequences of other people's actions too. So maybe that's what we need to do, Chris. What do you think? Is just, get on our knees and say, Lord, help me to see, the consequences of my actions.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, you've gotten us off to a great start, Chris. Thank you for calling. We appreciate that.
And a shout out to Melanie again. Melanie, if you want to call back from Ann Arbor, Michigan, please do so. Matt is holding it open in case you want to call back. But we do have some open phone lines if you'd like to share your great invention that would really help the world. Jerry wants no more cords. He wants everything to just be like the Jetsons. You just, imagine it and it's plugged in and it's charged up. I like that idea. Just to say phone, charge, and then it just charges. 833-288-3986. And the rest of us are talking about truth and clarity and awareness and having that real understanding of what it means when we go out into the world, how we should represent Christ. 833-288-3986. Please join us. This is a very interesting conversation.
It is. And up next is Bart, who is in Debbie's area, the Phoenix, Arizona area, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Bart. Hello, do we have Bart there? He may have gone to check on the patent for his invention.
Yeah. Hi, Bart. Are you there?
We'll go back. We'll get back to him in a minute.
Yeah. He wants to talk about something interesting. It's like respect. That's interesting. I want to hear what Bart has to say. We got some other lines lighting up. Can I just say something real quickly about going back to what Chris said about, an awareness and an understanding of how we go out there into the world? This happened to me recently. I just have to share this real quickly. I needed a new phone. Yes, Jerry, I needed a new phone. So I finally went back to Verizon and got a new phone. But I did it the right way. I ordered it. They told me what store to go pick it up. They even sent me the text alerts. They said, your phone is here. You have 4 days to pick it up. I went the first day. Did I tell you this story yet, Jerry?
No.
I haven't told you. Oh, wait till you hear this story. You're going to, yeah. And for all our Take Two family, this truly just happened. So I went into the store and the line was like an hour long and they were short staffed. So I left, but I knew on the text message I had an extra couple days because it said it right there. Went in the next day and the manager walks up to me and he goes, we canceled your order. I said, what? He goes, we canceled your order. You never came and picked it up. I said, so I handed my phone to him and I said, but look, this is what the text message said. And he goes, I really don't care. It's canceled. And
wow.
I said, yeah. And so for a moment there, Jerry, I pulled back and I was ready to just, verbally just go off on this young manager and say, well, wait a minute, I did everything right. You guys, obviously did something wrong on your end. And I just thought about it for a minute. And I said, hon, can we sit down and talk about this? And we talked about it and he worked everything out. And then he ended up giving me all this stuff from my other phone. I have another phone and he gave me all this stuff because he felt so bad, Jerry, that he treated me poorly. Now, had I gone off on him and just started verbally going at him, I probably wouldn't have had such a great experience. So it's a good thing I had I don't know what it was at that moment, the courage to just step back and not say anything.
The grace to
okay,
act
that's a good word.
Accordingly,
yeah, but it's tough, Jerry, because you can react very easily. Okay, where are we going?
I would say let's go to Robin in Phoenix, Arizona, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Robin. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Great. So glad you called.
So, I don't know about an inventor, but respect is what the world needs. If you think about that, you put respect at the top, and you can put in all the subcategories you want under it. But everything, it seems nobody has respect for anything or anybody, or it's just they don't respect their parents, they don't respect the land, they don't respect the church, they don't respect nothing. It just respect is very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead, Deb.
Well, Robin, I don't know if you heard my little story about what happened at the phone store, at the Verizon store, but the young man that treated me so, he was so disrespectful. And that's exactly what went through my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm being respectful of you, but yet he was just, disregarding what I had to say. He was disrespecting me. He was pushing me away. And I thought, wow, that's what has happened. That's how we're going kind of treat one another. And I'll tell you, it does take a lot to pull back and, like Jerry said, have that kind of grace to not react. But I tell you, my first instinct was to just say, man, you are so rude. I wanted to say that so badly, but thank goodness I didn't. But you're right, Robin. But what's the answer to that? I mean, I guess we would have to have some kind of invention that would maybe train people to have respect. I mean, what's the answer?
Yeah, we definitely need inventors to come up with something, because I don't have that answer, but it's definitely what the world needs.
Yeah, without question, Robin. And we have seen so many examples of disrespect. I mean, disrespect is almost a gross understatement of what we've seen in our culture in the last couple of years, especially. But it's been building up for a long time. I think all of us can go back to, when we were in high school, and, even if you had a scuffle with a friend in PE, or, got in a fight with somebody, you were eating lunch, together an hour later. It was just It was just the way the world was. But now it's like, I'm going to get you. You did me. I'm going to get you, and just no respect. I think it's got to start, of course, St. Teresa would say, it's got to start with respect for the unborn. And if we don't have respect for the unborn and value their lives, then we're not going to value the lives of living people. That's for sure. So. Right.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Robin?
I think you're on spot. I also want to tell you, I've only been Catholic for a little over a year. I converted from Baptist, and my wife and mother-in-law did too.
Praise God.
And we listen to you guys every day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, would you tell your wife and mother-in-law we said welcome home? And Robin, that's so awesome. That's awesome. What parish do you attend in Phoenix?
St. Elizabeth Seton.
Nice.
I'm already a 4th degree knight.
Great.
So I'm really enjoying it.
Wow. Oh, you have a great parish. We know it very well, and that is beautiful. So that is amazing. I'm so glad you're involved in ministry, and 4th degree knight, that's the way to do it. Hopefully we'll cross paths someday, because Jerry and I will be doing some speaking in Arizona. So I live in Arizona, Robin, but we get on, that's on the west side. So we sometimes get booked to speak on the west side. So maybe you'll come up and introduce yourself in person.
Awesome. Come see us.
All right. We'd love to. Thanks, Robin, for the call. Great contribution to the show, 833-288-3986. Kind of a hypothetical conversation today. If you could invent something that would help the world, what would it be? We titled the show, What the World Needs Now Is, and that brings up a song, of course, Love, Sweet Love, and Robin's call, Respect. That could bring up, was that Aretha Franklin did the R-E-S-P-E-C-T?
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Like I told you, there's a song in everything. But anyway, that's for an off-the-air conversation probably.
You're hilarious.
Tom is in South Carolina listening on Sirius XM 130. Tom, welcome to the program.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Pretty well. How about you?
Well, I'm scared someone's going to run away with my brilliant invention, but, I'm going to put it out for the world.
It's a risk we have to take, Tom.
All right, so I'm going to title my invention The Church Disciplinarian 5000.
Okay,
so here's how this works. Every seat of the pew is outfitted with a really small receptor. They use these invisible fences for pets, and, when the pets start to cross that line a little bit, they get just a little shock, a little reminder shock. And so basically anytime someone is falling asleep during Mass, or, someone tries to commit liturgical abuse, like they want to hold hands during the Our Father, the parish priest can just push a little button on an app and, just give a little friendly reminder shock to the parishioner, like, don't do that.
Wow, that is too much, Tom. I'll tell you. What do you think, Debbie?
Okay, so I have to share something, Tom. I hope my husband's not listening to this show today. I am notorious for elbowing my husband continuously because he constantly has that head bob that goes down, and I'll elbow him and he'll go, "I'm not sleeping." I go, "Well, what happened to your head? It fell all the way forward." And so it would be great if the priest could just shock him into waking up. That's a great idea. I might have to invent that just for personal use. No, but Tom, we have a lot of clergy that listens, and it's no disrespect to the the homilists, the deacons or the priests that give the homilies. But, and let's face it, when we sit in church, we're sitting still. It's very peaceful. And we do have a chaotic world out there. So like my husband says, it's not that I'm falling asleep because I'm bored. It just feels so peaceful. And that is true, wouldn't you say, Tom? But I would also say that I just believe that for the most part, we need to step it up a bit in our preparation and our delivery of the homilies. I'm just going to say it. And there's a lot of clergy listening. Lately, the homilies, in my opinion, have been a little flat, and it's not good. It does lead you into a little bit of a slumber. What do you think, Tom?
Sounds fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tom, as of right now, I'm sure nobody has taken advantage of inventing what you suggested here on the program. It may happen fairly soon though, so get started on that and keep us posted. Okay, you can always call back on the show or email take2@EWTN.com. All right, Tom.
All right, y'all.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Have a
Tom.
blessed day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Couldn't you just do a mini taser? Couldn't you just use a mini taser?
Well, yeah. I think. Aren't the bells at the consecration designed to not wake people up, but
to
focus
alert what's
attention?
happening.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in the old days they couldn't see. Remember, they couldn't see what was happening.
We need your phone call right now, 833-288-3986. If you could invent something that would benefit the world, what would it be? Be creative. Let us know what you're thinking.
Yes.
Have you ever heard someone say, you've got to believe in yourself? G.K. Chesterton says the people who believe in themselves are all in lunatic asylums. You have to believe in something outside yourself. You have to believe that there's a greater reality than the one inside your head. If the only thing you believe in is yourself, your world will become very small, about the size of a padded cell. We live in a world that rejects the worship of the one true God and has substituted something called the God within. But as Chesterton says, if Jones is told to worship the God within, it ultimately means that Jones shall worship Jones.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information and go to EWTNRC.com to discover more books and programs written and inspired by G.K. Chesterton.
This is Debbie Georgiani. If you missed part of today's show, catch the encore tonight at midnight Eastern. Check out the podcast anytime at EWTNradio.net and click podcasts.
This weekend, EWTN Radio takes you to Atlanta for the 2022 Atlanta Eucharistic Congress. This was held earlier this summer and was attended by thousands of Catholics at the Georgia International Convention Center. I'm Tom Price, and I had the privilege of interviewing a number of presenters and exhibitors at the Congress. We'll bring those to you Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. Do you have questions about the Catholic faith? Get the answers on Call to Communion, coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Glad you're with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. All right, Take Two family, you had half the show to think about this and maybe come up with an idea of something you would invent, if you could, that would help benefit the world in some way or benefit the church, benefit you personally or your family. 833-288-3986. We have Evelyn we're going to get to in just a second here. I'm not going to guess how long this is going to take me this time, but I will congratulate two members of the EWTN radio family, Catholic Voice of the Palm Beaches. That's WPBV in Palm Beach, Florida. They have been on the air 7 years with EWTN Radio this week. And Light of Truth Ministries, WCLP, in Lake Placid, New York, celebrates 8 years of solid Catholic radio with EWTN.
Nice. Congratulations. That is wonderful. Okay, we're getting a lot of messages coming in. Mike says he would like an anger neutralizer. I love that. An anger neutralizer. That is really cool. And then we're also getting some more messages coming in saying they do like the if you're telling a lie, they want that detector that immediately lets people know if somebody is not telling the truth. See, if we're on a quest for truth. Mm-hmm. You see where this is headed? So we need it now, man. And you know what? I agree with what you said, Jerry. We got to be like Mother Teresa. We got to start in our own homes. We've got to be truth in our own homes. We've got to be, calm in our own homes. We've got to start in our own families and communities right now and let it spread to the world. That's what the Christian message is. Let's hear what Evelyn has to say in Houston, Texas on Sirius XM 130. Hello, Evelyn. Welcome.
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Doing well.
Great. Well, one of the inventions that I loved what you had just said, the anger control one, and mine was about self-control, and I feel like self-control in all areas would be a good invention, like self-control with the anger, consulting with God, like having a button where, I'm getting to that point, or self-control when we eat, self-control when we spend. I feel like pride, I just feel like there's just a lot of areas where maybe we could benefit from that. And then another one I didn't mention was spending time with the Lord. Like how often do we just sit and be still? Hey, have you checked in with God today? Have you, said your prayers? Have you? I think a lot of that too is maybe we're not spending enough time, even with the Blessed Sacrament.
I totally agree. And less, would you agree with this, Evelyn and Jerry? Less is more with God, meaning it's when I say less is more, what I'm talking about is sometimes we want to dedicate like a huge amount of time, right? I'm going to spend like 5 hours with the Lord. And then we kind of get exhausted, and then we have other things on our list that are piling up, right? So if we do little taps throughout the day, I've said this with my brother many times, I think there should be an app on our phones that at the top of every hour, at the top of the hour, even just for 30 seconds, we really think and focus on God. Because if we would focus on God every hour, we would be tapping God. That little bit goes a long way with God. What do you think, Evelyn?
I totally agree with that. That's something I've been really working on through my Lenten practice and then trying to continue on. But yes, that's a great way of putting it. Because like you said, you can get overwhelmed. Like, I didn't spend my, X amount, like you said. But I think also before you even do any of your tasks, it's like, say, I'm going to make that time for the Lord first before I watch a show or, or whatever it may be that you're desiring to do. But, hey, I'm going to check in with God first.
Yeah, and the church does have a rhythm of prayer. It's required of clergy, as far as I know, bishops, priests, and deacons. But a lot of lay people pray what's called the Liturgy of the Hours. It's not every hour on the hour, but then you add the Angelus into that. So I think if we just adopt some of these spiritual disciplines that are out there and available already, we could do exactly what you were talking about, Debbie. It's not every hour spent in the chapel every hour of the day, but it's recognizing God every hour of the day.
Right, that's what I mean about keeping Him on the forefront of your minds, and that's so important. I love that, Jerry.
Oh, thank you. I didn't invent it.
Evelyn did.
Evelyn, anything else, Evelyn?
I just really enjoy the show, and thank y'all for your time and wisdom.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn.
That will free up a line, 833-288-3986. We are past the halfway point of the show, but that still leaves you time to get on and discuss something that if you could invent something to help the church, the world, yourself, your family, what would it be? Just use a little bit of creativity and then call 833-288-3986.
Everybody's liking the anger neutralizer. I think that's going to end up being an invention.
Well, who texted that in? Mike?
Mike. Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike, you got to call because I'm very curious about this. What does this look like? Because here you go. This is just my wild imagination running away with me. An anger neutralizer could be a fist. You punch somebody in the face.
A taser.
It could be a spray, like pepper spray or something. I don't know. Mike's got to elaborate on what this anger neutralizer looks like. My mind is going in a bad direction on this one.
Yeah, okay. So, Mike, if you're from Texas, if you want to call in, the number is 833-288-3986, and tell us what this anger neutralizer is. We all want it. Start inventing it now. Well, I think it's easy to have a lot of anger, righteous anger of what's going on in the world. Come on, let's face it. It's crazy. I turned on the news this morning. I got severely down, like instantly, watching just the few news pieces that were floating around over and over and over again. And then I finally turned it off, and I put on, I actually put on the rosary. I played the rosary on YouTube. So as I was getting prepared for the show, because I just felt really sad. And so I think it's easy to fall into that anger, Jerry.
It is. Definitely is. We have to love. We got to move past that anger, fight our way through it, and continue to love those who still may not be on God's side. Okay, let's go to Louisiana. Beth is listening on Christ Our King Radio, and we welcome you to the show. Beth, hi.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Doing great today.
Hi, Beth.
Hope you are too.
Yeah, if I could develop something, I think it would be awesome if we come up with a way to have a device that would help the brain develop in the areas of where love and empathy grow. I think we're just, maybe the last couple of generations, we've gotten so stuck on the physical needs of our children or in general that I've been reading a lot that so many, from newborns to, children, the affection and the love that they're needing is not being met. So these part of the areas of the brain are just not developing as well, and this is where anxiety and depression parts of the brain become more emphasized. So it's like, well, wow, if we could just figure out a way to reverse that, and make those parts of the brain start growing again, that would be awesome, because maybe we could alleviate some of the things that they were missing so early in life.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good.
It is. It's well, that would be fantastic. And, Beth, I'm obviously no expert on what I'm about to comment on, but there have been studies, if I recall, about, how kids are touched when they're infants and babies, and the attention that they get, and all of this stuff. And it just shows there's radical differences in the ones that have been shown true love and nurturing and the empathy that you're talking about versus those who have not. So this would be great, I think. Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. You would be really proud of me, Beth. With my two boys, I constantly held them, I sang to them, I squeezed them, and they say that if you really give them that kind of nurturing and comfort before the 18 months old, it really helps them for a lifetime. And I think both of them have a very deep sense of love and empathy. So but that comes from just, I'm a kind of a huggy, squeezing type of person anyway. So for me, it was super easy because these babies were so cute. But I get so sad when I hear about these children in hospitals and in places where they're never being held. They're in a crib for 8 hours a day. And I've often thought about volunteering to just hold, babies, because it is so important. So I'm right with you on that, Beth. Anything else?
No, that's it. I think you guys also hit it. You kind of added on to, what I've been reading a lot about.
Wow, awesome. Thanks so much for lending your voice to the conversation today, Beth. We appreciate it greatly. And we can move along here on our calls. We're going to go next to Salem, New Hampshire. Ralph, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Ralph.
Hello. I'm so glad to get on, but I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be.
Don't be. We're very friendly, Ralph.
I know, I've listened to you enough. But what my invention is heaven on earth. And what Catholics don't understand is that when we're in the celebration of Mass, we are literally in heaven on earth. And in order to make that more clear, not just to the Catholics, but to everybody who passes by a church during a Mass, is my invention is to start building churches built in glass enclosures that everybody can see from the outside, and have your traditional back wall with the crucifix and whatever else we have, but during Mass, an electronic wall displays heaven on earth. So not only are the faithful attending Mass aware of heaven on earth, because we're in heaven on earth, everybody who passes by at that same time can see heaven on earth in our Catholic Church exposed. During Mass, regular hours, it's a regular church backdrop in a glass enclosure.
Wow. I hardly know what to say, Ralph. My mind immediately went to the Christ Cathedral, which is in the Diocese of Orange, which used to be the Crystal Cathedral, what was that, Robert Schuller, Debbie? Was he the pastor that was at Crystal Cathedral?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyway. Well, that's fascinating, Ralph. I'm just wondering about what would people do, as they pass by the church? Say when Mass is not going on.
Right.
Are they, what are they just looking at the tabernacle? Do they feel like? Would you feel like you had to genuflect, Ralph? Or I think we all cross ourselves when we go past the church. But what would you feel like passing by that church when Mass wasn't going on?
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Here's the point: the exposure. All we have to do is produce it. The Holy Ghost take care. The Holy Spirit. You can tell my age. The Holy Spirit takes care of that. But the point is, yes, the inside of the church is exposed time, which means the tabernacle, which is not Jesus exposed, but during the Mass, it's heaven on earth. He is exposed, and it's during those hours that would get the attention. Believe me, you know as well as I do. You walk past the church in the downtown area that's bustling and hustling, and all it is a glass enclosure. People are impressed already. But wait until that cell of the Mass and that screen lights up with heaven on earth.
Well, I want to share something with you, Ralph, because I think you're on to something. I really do, because you jogged my memory from many years ago. A pastor that I worked for at one of one of the parishes here in the Diocese of Phoenix, he had an elaborate what do you call it? The sound system, the outdoor sound system. And it was and he did that on purpose because we didn't really have what you would call a cry room. And so he had this elaborate sound system for the outdoors. But guess what? It would bleed into the neighborhoods around the church. And so the Mass was being broadcasted all, to the whole entire neighborhood. And a good portion of our neighborhood was not Catholic. And wouldn't you know it, Ralph, they were drawn into, see, I just got chills when I said that. This is interesting, Ralph, you're on to something. The neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood were drawn to the words and the sounds and what they were experiencing from listening to the Mass. And they actually inquired at the church of what was going on, and could they come to a Mass and everything. So you're on to something, and I just think it's fascinating. I think you should explore it, Ralph. Maybe and just start it in your diocese.
I'm reading a book on the Mass. It's called Heaven on Earth: The Order and the Meaning of the Mass. And this is once I started learning the heaven on earth, and I'm writing this book, and I'm learning all about the aspects of the church which we in the pews have no clue, especially the fact that it is heaven on earth. I started visualizing, going, okay, this is great. It's a book. It's a book. It's a book. And I want to use that to have Catholics understand what's going on in the Mass. But I said, what about evangelization? And I call the Mass the church's greatest secret because it's enclosed. And it happens to be the greatest celebration of the Catholic Church, and yet it's totally enclosed. in the original churches, there was no such thing in the early centuries. There were no such thing as churches. They were held, the first Mass after Jesus Christ initiated it was held outside in the Temple of Jerusalem, I think under the Portico of Solomon. Outside. The first Masses were held outdoors. And what happened in the early 4th century is they started constructing buildings to house the Mass. But it's always been heaven on earth. No matter where you hold it, it's heaven on. If you're holding it in a catacomb, which was called the Martyria, it was called the Eucharista, but we changed it to the Mass. But no matter where it is, it's heaven on earth. And I think we should expose the greatest secret of the Catholic Church by building glass enclosures and having those electronic screens that during Mass, at our parish, when the priest comes in and starts Mass, he rings a bell. He can ring that bell, and guess what appears on the back wall of the church? Heaven on earth.
Wow.
And when he goes out, it reverts back to a regular. But no matter what,
Sure.
my first intent is to get Catholics to understand what the value of the Mass is. You're in heaven on earth. And
Yeah.
then and then fallen away Catholics to get them to come back, and then non-Catholic Christians, non-Christian, the whole world. It's a great evangelistic tool.
You are, Ralph, this is fascinating. We thank you for contributing it to the program. And you took the words right out of my mouth in one of your last comments. That is, we got to wake Catholics up first. If, St. Catherine of Siena said, if we're living the way we ought to be, we'll set the world on fire, or something like that. If you are who God made you to be, you'll set the world on fire. So, wow. Well, keep us posted, Ralph, on if you get any traction with this. We'd love to hear about it, okay? 833-288-3986 is the number to call. We still have more people to get to. We've got email. We have social media.
We do, but we have a show to highlight, and that is Dr. Doctor. Dr. Doctor is the official radio program of the Catholic Medical Association. If you haven't heard Dr. Doctor, folks, please tune in Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on EWTN Radio. Dr. Doctor discusses practical and current medical topics with a focus on the dignity of the human person, body and soul. And this Saturday, you can hear all about the amazing work being done to save babies and give moms a second chance at choice through the Abortion Pill Reversal Network. The doctors talk to Robin Chambers from Focus on the Family, Dr. George Delgado from the help me with that. Is
Culture
that the
of Life Family Service?
Yeah. Is it? It says I can't read it. It says it's an institute, and then it says Heartbeat International, from Heartbeat International. Please forgive me, folks. I'm getting older by the minute, and the font is a little bit hard for me to read. But Dr. George Delgado is amazing, and you'll learn a lot about the Abortion Pill Reversal Network. That's on Dr. Doctor, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Did you pick up on that? Did you want to read where Dr. George Delgado is from?
I actually have dispatched that piece of paper already.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Hey, listen, I've been, it's called the Steno, is it Steno Institute? I've never heard of that. Have you heard of that?
I have, yes.
Oh, you're so smart. A lot smarter than me.
Well, I know Dr. Delgado. He lives in the San Diego area. At least he used to. He was always a good friend on Catholic Answers Live quite often when I hosted that show.
Very nice. Well, everybody should tune in. It's going to be a very important show this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay.
All right, we have more of your calls. If you could invent something to help the world, the church, yourself, your family, anybody else, we'd love to hear about it. And Bernadette is listening on Alexa in the state of California. Hi, Bernadette. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
This invention is based on something I used to watch on EWTN commercial. At the end of your life, you walk into a room, like somebody walked into like a warehouse, and they see the actions of their entire life. And so I was thinking it'd be really awesome if we before we die, we'd have like a drone or a little satellite following a personal satellite that followed us around. And at the end of the day, we could plug it in and actually watch how our actions affected people in our daily lives, because I don't think, even I myself, it's like the daily examine in a way, but I can't always remember everything. And I know that this would be an awesome thing,
Right.
So wait a minute. You want a drone following us around, and then like trailing all our actions? Is that it?
Or our own personal satellite. I'm not sure how it would happen. Maybe something implanted in our eyes, implanted, and that's what we could. Yeah, so we can see, how our lives, instead of waiting to die, because I really believe part of our purgatory. This is just during prayer. One time I thought about this. During our purgatory, I think part of the things we're going to really be purged from are the things that we did in our lives to hurt people, to say just the things that we even said that affected people in a negative way, because, this continues on and on and on. But I thought in a daily life, it would be nice to be reminded, because I don't think everybody does their daily examine, and I often forget myself. But it's a great tool to do that.
It is. Okay, so I need to share something with you, Bernadette, because this is fascinating. Jerry, you probably never have heard of this because you probably don't watch Dr. Phil on TV. But Dr. Phil, if you remember this, Bernadette, Dr. Phil McGraw, who has the television show, he put cameras into people's homes. And they agreed on it, and they put these cameras in the various rooms in their kitchen and in a living room and stuff like that. So the people in the household knew that these cameras were on 24 hours a day, and they knew that for a couple days. But after a couple days, they forgot that the cameras were there, and they started acting in their normal way. And Dr. Phil played back the tape for them on their different interactions with each other, and it was shocking. It was absolutely shocking to the family members, because they said, I didn't realize I was so rude to my spouse, or I didn't realize I was so condescending to my children. And it was fascinating. And Bernadette, it's similar to what you're talking about here, because when you see yourself in action and you see all the kind of character flaws and the things that we do so kind of, unconsciously, it's a wake-up call to realize, wow, we are having an impact, whether it's good on another person or it could be very destructive. What do you think?
I think that's an awesome. I love that. I agree with you 100%.
Beautiful.
I would love to put cameras in. I would love to put cameras into my home, every room, because I think it does keep you kind of, alert and saying, I need to be conscious of the things I say and do, because I'm affecting another soul. I love what Bernadette has to say. By the way, Bernadette, I'm going to see St. Bernadette's Relics in 2 weeks in Arizona. I'm super excited. It's the first time St. Bernadette's relics are going to be around the United States, and I'm so excited I can't even see straight. Have you seen the relics?
No, it's supposed to be I'm in California, and it's only in Los Angeles. And I'm having surgery on the 9th, so I'm hoping to somehow, my husband says, just go fly out, see the relics, and you can come back. Because I can't, it's too long of a drive for me because I'm having a hip surgery. And I really, really would like to see that. I'm praying that that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of all people, you have to see it, Bernadette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That makes me want to go even more.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I understand we're going to be able to touch the relics. They're going to do Lourdes, healings and all sorts of sprinkling rites and stuff. I know the churches are going all out because this is the first time. But Bernadette, I put you in our prayer book, and I'll take you when I go to see the relics at the end of July, okay, for your hip surgery on the 9th.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just pondered my comment for a minute, Bernadette. Of course, I hope you know what I meant. It's because you're named after her. I'm not suggesting you have any other particular needs, but we all do. But I just meant because she's your namesake. So thanks, Bernadette. Mary Ellen in New York, we wish we had time. You hear that music right there. It's another one wrapped up here. Take Two show with Jerry and Debbie and you. Thanks to Ace, Jeff, and Matt, the show team. Thank you, Take Two family. You hit another one out of the park today. Way to go.
And Mary Ellen was saying a tool to make us more receptive to grace. I love that, Mary Ellen. Start inventing it right now. We need it now more than ever. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about, this was suggested by our listener, Mary Ann, who said, are you being drawn to a more of a contemplative life? If you are, tomorrow's the show to call in and share with us what drew you into that kind of contemplative way. We want to hear about it.
And thanks to the affiliates for carrying the show as well. For Debbie Georgiani, I am Jerry Usher. Have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, continue to pray for us.